Good afternoon, everyone, or I suppose good morning, depending on where you are for our friends on the West Coast. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jillian Fortin, and on behalf of Team Alice and our partners at Grow with Google, we are super ecstatic to have y'all join us today for our very first Ask Me Anything event for our Use YouTube to Grow Your Business Sprint. Like I mentioned, my name is Jillian Fortin, and I am dialing in from sunny, beautiful Houston, Texas. And here's the part where I want to encourage you all to tell us where you're joining us from. So down below in the toolbar, click on that handy dandy chat button and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your business and share a URL or two so we can follow along your entrepreneurial journey. On the line with me to continue with introductions, I also have Betsy Schmidt from the Grow with Google team. I also have Danielle Teleria with Team Alice, and I also have Brittany Hall, who is our awesome Director of Partnerships at Hello Alice. Ooh, look at all these folks joining us. Awesome. So we've got folks from all around. Thank you again for joining us today. So without further ado, because I know that y'all did not join this event to hear me speak, you actually joined to hear Stasia Kudrez speak. And Stasia is our expert with Grow with Google and is a lead educator for the Grow with Google program. She's been speaking for Google since 2005, appearing at hundreds of events on Google's behalf, training thousands of people across the world. And now y'all can add yourselves to the mix. Her web development career began in the early 1990s. After working agency for 12 years, she applied her skills and experience to education. Stasia has developed online marketing curriculum for prestigious education providers, including lynda.com. She also wrote a book about Google AdWords published by O'Reilly Media. So when we say you can ask an expert anything, we really, really mean it. So before diving into our presentation, Betsy, did you want to share a little bit about Grow with Google?
Hey, Betsy, you're on mute.
Oh, the challenges. Yes, thank you so much to the Hello Alice team for having us here today. And thank you, Stasia, for coming and sharing your expertise. We're super excited about this opportunity. Very briefly, Grow with Google is a program that helps ensure that the opportunities created by technology are available to everyone. And we offer training and tools to help people get the skills they need to grow their businesses, advance their careers, and get jobs. We launched this program in 2017 and have trained over 5 million Americans on digital skills and how to use Google software. We have a network of partners, including Hello Alice, a lot of local libraries and schools, nonprofits, chambers of commerce, and they all help share this information. You can find out a lot more about Google's free training programs on grow.google.com. And also, of course, in the Hello Alice how-to guides, there are 3 great supporting guides that help with this training sprint. And there's so much good information about YouTube and, of course, the Grow with Google program. So thank you again for joining us. And off to you, Miss Stasia.
Thanks, Betsy. Thank you, Jillian. Thanks to everybody from Hello Alice for having me here today. And as they mentioned, I'm filling in for Carissa St. Laurent today. So if you were looking for Carissa, you got me. I'm sorry. I'm Stasia. I'm the lead trainer for Grow with Google. And today, this is one of my new favorite presentations because I don't have to talk all that much. I'm basically going to be moderating a lot of videos that provide some of the most useful practical tips I've seen in our workshops to date. So I am particularly excited about presenting today for the YouTube Sprint, Create Compelling Video Content. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be going over today. If you weren't here for the last sprint with Hello Alice, we learned about how Google search works and how small businesses can use Google tools to connect with customers locally and globally. And the takeaways from that sprint were search engines like relevant original content. So it's really important to regularly publish new content on your site. And if your business is a fit for a business profile on Google, you should create, claim, and verify that profile. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go and check out some of the material on the Hello Alice website or on the Grow with Google On website. If for no other reason that you don't, it will teach you how to read and respond to customer reviews left about your business or organization on Google. So it's a really smart thing for businesses to take advantage of. Okay, but we're going to be switching gears now. Instead, we're going to be talking about a whole different type of content, video content. And while I am going to be looking at this through the lens specific to YouTube, a lot of the things that we will learn today will apply to your video content no matter where you want to publish it. Naturally, of course, we hope you use YouTube, but the tips are not YouTube specific. So many businesses and organizations are looking for ways to grow. That's probably why you're here today, trying to figure out, well, how do I leverage all this stuff to help people find me and become more engaged and more loyal customers for my products and my services? And as people go and start studying this, they're finding and realizing that video is a critical part of the equation for reaching, acquiring, and keeping new customers. And it's not difficult to do this because basically anyone who has a phone now can make a video. According to Ipsos, a research firm, 72% of small businesses in the US feel that getting started on YouTube is easy, and 65% of small businesses feel that YouTube helps their business reach new customers during this time. But here's the big but. Okay, so that's great. We've got some stats that say yay, using YouTube is easy. But if you have never made a video before, the question, how do I do this, is totally reasonable. And that is what this workshop is designed to do. It's to help you get started so you can make those compelling videos that will help your business grow, whether you publish on YouTube or other platforms. So that's what we're going to focus on today. YouTube actually partnered last year with a research company called Cannondale. And what they did is they looked at 10,000 video ads from small and medium-sized businesses across the United States and Canada and the UK, Australia, and Korea. And what they did is they compiled all of that research to extract common themes and lessons about what worked for these particular videos that they saw. Now, these were from video ads, but the same principles, the production tips that we're going to be talking about, can apply whether you're creating a video that is an ad or it's a how-to video or an unboxing video, anything, it's a product demo, anything that you're doing to promote your business online. So this session is going to cover some of the things that they learned. And I'm going to show you 8 creative tips, production techniques that were common themes throughout the videos that were analyzed. Now, one thing to note, these are tips. These are not hard and fast rules. But our hope is that after today's session, it's going to give you some ideas that can help you shape your plan for creating your own effective videos. You guys ready? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about today is selfie style. This is one of the tried and true techniques that you will see on YouTube every day. In a selfie style video, someone who is representing your brand is in the middle of the story, telling the story of what you do, who you are, what you sell, what you offer. It's a simple but authentic way to put a message out there that builds a connection with your viewers. So to show you how to do this, I'm going to replay, well, I'm actually not going to, the Hello Alice folks who are helping me run this webinar are going to replay a short video, which was recently created by Adrienne Finch. She is a YouTube creator and a business coach. So what we're going to do now is check out Adrienne's 6 tips for making a great selfie style video. Are you ready to play the video for me?
I am. Can you do you mind giving me screen sharing power?
I will give you a screen share.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm YouTube creator and business coach Adrienne Finch, and today I'm going to teach you how to make amazing videos that feature one person speaking directly to camera. I film videos like this all the time on my YouTube channel, and here are 6 key things I keep in mind while doing so. First, you'll want to choose a quiet location where you won't be interrupted while filming. Next, make sure there's a good amount of space behind you so that the camera focuses on you more than the background. Check that the room is free of clutter and that you have permission to use any of the art or logos that are visible in the frame. And feel free to liven up the background with some more props, but make sure they don't distract from you, the presenter. Next, we have lighting. It's important to make sure you're appropriately lit, either using equipment like this ring light or natural light from a window. At the same time, there shouldn't be bright light coming from behind you. A good rule of thumb, make sure the camera is always positioned between you and the light source. If your light source is too close or too intense, try filtering it with something like a sheer curtain or moving further away from the light. For great sounding audio, your best bet is to use a lavalier or a shotgun microphone that plugs directly into your camera. To avoid echo, make sure you're recording in a mid-sized carpeted room with a low ceiling. And don't forget to turn off things like phones, music, and air conditioning to reduce background noise. If you can hear it, your microphone can too. With wardrobe, it's important to be yourself. Dress the way you typically would for a day at work. In general, solid colors work best. Avoid small repeating patterns, prints, logos, or anything that's the same color as your background. Also, avoid accessories that can distract or jingle. And if you wear glasses, make sure to check the lenses for reflections. When it comes to where you should position yourself in the frame, center generally looks best. Don't leave too much space between your head and the top of the frame, but don't cut yourself off either. You'll want to keep your camera around eye level, and you should be at least an arm's length away from the lens. And remember, look directly into the camera as if you're looking directly at your audience. It's engaging and creates a sense of connection, which brings us to tone. Now, this one takes practice. You want the viewers to feel like they know you, and the best way to do that is to speak as if you're at lunch with a close friend, but with a little more energy. Speak clearly, be as concise as possible, and don't forget to relax. If you're having fun, your viewers will too. All right, everyone, those are my 6 best practices for creating amazing selfie-style videos on YouTube. I now challenge you guys to take what you've learned and create a video, even if it's just for practice. But if you do end up posting it, tag me on social media at Adrienne Finch. I'd love to see. Best of luck.
All right, guys. I have to admit, after watching that video, just make sure you guys can, I don't think you can see me yet. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go. I'm back. After seeing that video and watching for that, she inspired me to go and dig out some eyeshadow because I was like, wow, her makeup looks really great. I don't have a professional stylist, but I got as close as I could, and her tips are really helping me kind of get into a better position and hopefully create a more engaging workshop for you as well. Okay, so that was production tip number 1. Let's look at the second technique, which is choosing the perfect backdrop. In this video, Princess Donato Assel will offer tips for selecting and setting up a backdrop. She's going to cover the materials that you would use, the colors that you would choose, the lighting, the positioning, and more. So with that, I am going to switch screens back over to Jillian, and she is going to play our second production technique. All right, here I go.
My name is Princess and I'm a content creator based here in Hawaii. Today, I'm going to show you how to find the perfect backdrop that you can use for your videos, you can upload on your socials, YouTube page, website, or anything for your business. Before we tackle the different tips, let me tell you why it's important. A good backdrop allows your viewers to focus on you, your message, and your product. It sets the overall mood and the overall brand of your video. Third, it allows a good impression for your viewers. Today I will show you that finding the right backdrop can be super easy with quick setup and can be within your budget. It's gonna be fun, so let's get started. There are many types of backdrops you can use. The most basic ones are paper, fabric, or just walls. You can find the paper and fabric online or craft stores close by. The ones I have right now, I got it from a craft store close by and it only cost me for just about $4. This paper and fabric is 5x3 and is meant for shooting just from your waist and up. But if you're planning to shoot your whole body or you want more space in the frame, you can always find bigger ones online. Just type photography backdrop and you'll find a lot of good options that are under $50. In terms of color or shade, it honestly depends on you, but solid and neutral colors like blue, white, or black are always good to go to. If you're looking for more dramatic colors or patterns, make sure it's not too distracting. Wear clothes that are not the same color as your background, but colors that would complement it. When setting up your backdrop, make sure that it's flat and clean. Notice any stains and wrinkles because as small as it is, it can be distracting. Wrinkles can cause shadows that can be magnified by the light. You can use double adhesive tape and push pins on all four corners. And for me, I like using both just to make sure it stays up and flat the whole time. Lighting is so important in video production. I use this ring light I purchased online for just around $25. I position it in front of me or right behind the camera. Make sure to adjust the lighting setting if it's available so it's not too bright. Another option is you can always use natural lighting. Just make sure you do it before it gets dark. You can also use the lights from your home. Just make sure that your position doesn't cause any shadows, especially around your face. As for positioning, don't stay too close to your backdrop. Stand about 2 to 3 feet from your backdrop. This allows more focus and depth on you as the speaker. I hope you enjoyed this video and realize how simple yet important it is to find good backdrops when creating content for your business.
Hey everybody, I'm back. Let's see if I can find it. So if I go back too far, that's not good. But if I come too close, that's not good. So let's try to find the perfect spot right in between. Okay, so let's go on to the third technique that we have. And that is, I can make it go forward. Here it is, the voiceover. So far we've covered the selfie style and backdrops. And both of those techniques focus on a person who is on the screen. But what if your video doesn't have a person on the screen who's actually talking to a camera? So I'm going to show you, or I'm going to introduce the third production technique right now, which is called the voiceover. Now, choosing my favorite production video tip would kind of be like choosing my favorite child. Not cool. But I could listen to this next guy who's presenting all day long. Alex Jertan, don't know if I'm saying it right, but Alex from Drop of Lemon Studio in the Netherlands is going to show us how to make the perfect voiceover. This video is a little bit longer than the ones we just saw, but I guarantee that it won't feel that way because it's so funny and it's packed with great information. So with that, I'm once again going to turn this over to Jillian to share the third production tip. All right, here I go.
And what he doesn't know yet is that he is going to explain you how to make the perfect voiceover. What's the matter, Alex? Right, sorry, I can't understand. What are you saying? Maybe it's your accent or something, but I just can't.
I'm Alex, I'm from Drop of Lemon Studio, and I'm gonna talk to you about making voiceovers. Voiceover is a monologue from an off-camera presence. So what I'm doing right now is talking directly into the camera. This is not a voiceover.
But I am a voiceover.
A voiceover is literally a voice over your images. It can be used to promote your business, to inform your customers, basically anything where an extra voice is needed. So it's a no-brainer that voiceovers are pretty important for selling your product or service. But still, the quality of some voiceovers is pretty bad. I've seen a lot of videos where the audio was recorded from a camera far away or a phone far away. But with a few simple tricks, we can make your voiceover sound amazing. Plus, most of the things you already have at home, and it's for free. If you really want to get serious about audio production, then you need to invest in a microphone, audio recorder, microphone filters, pop filters, cables, and there's so many variations and possibilities, like Rode and Sennheiser is known for its versatility. So, should you invest in audio equipment? You definitely should, but only if you want to. Yeah. But because you invested all the money in your business, we'll show you the no-budget version. And the bare minimum audio recorder you need is this one. These microphones on some of these smartphones are really good, and there are a lot of different applications you can use to record audio, but I'll suggest just to use the standard recording app on the phone. The first step, create a quiet place. I guess you don't have a recording studio, so important is to find a nice quiet place somewhere in your home, somewhere in your surroundings, or create it by using pillow, blankets, anything that absorbs sound. And also make sure to avoid any kinds of noises around you, air condition, traffic, your neighbor's dog barking. Be aware of them and try to reduce it as much as possible. Step 2, stay close to the source, meaning that your microphone should be close to your mouth, but not too close or it's gonna sound all fuzzy and poppy, but also not too far away because then it's all echoey. And the best possible way to record the audio of your smartphone is at a 45-degree angle. And ideally, you put a pillow behind it to reduce any echo. Hello, yes, I'm Alex. I make voiceover videos. Step 3, doing the voiceover. You don't have to be the next Morgan Freeman. Your voice is just fine. You can hear my German little accent, but that shouldn't matter. It's your voice, it's your company, it's charming. It's how you talk about it with the enthusiasm, the right pronunciation, and the right volume and pacing. And what would definitely help is writing a voiceover script. Step 4, always record multiple takes. Always record multiple takes. In post-production, you can pick and choose which takes worked out the best depending on the video content you have, but also you can forge it all into one cohesive story. Speaking about post-production, there are different softwares you can use to clean up your audio. I would recommend Audacity. It's a free available program and it allows you to really fine-tune and enhance and make your voice as crispy as possible. After cleaning up the audio, you can start editing your video. I would start laying out the voiceover and make a cohesive story, because this will be the pacing and the rhythm of your video. After you pick and choose the best quotes, make sure that the audio doesn't just cut off. Add little fades, little volume changes to make it as smooth as possible. Add some music to see how it works with the voiceover, and then start adding your footage. After you edited your video, got your voiceover, your music, share it with your friends and family, get some feedback, hear what they have to say about it. Does it work? In conclusion, it can be pretty hard to record good audio, but with a couple of simple tools and tips, it really, really works. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Click the link below to learn more about voiceovers.
Hey everybody, I'm back. Let me share my screen.
Stasia, actually, we thought it might be a good moment for us to take a question from the audience.
Well, let me stop. Wow, we have a lot of people here today. Hi everybody.
We do.
Wow. Okay, so let me take a look at the Q&A. Going through here. So a few things. So this one is a question from Colleen and her question is, please discuss marketing B2B as opposed to B2C. Colleen, that is the discussion. I have been talking, and this applies not just to video, it applies to pay-per-click ads, it applies to content marketing, it applies to no matter what marketing strategy you are going forth with. You know, that the idea of how do you actually market to a different audience, B2B versus B2C, always comes up. So one thing or my personal approach on this is to remember for B2B as opposed to B2C, there are going to be a few differences. You're still writing for human beings, of course, but you're often writing for people who are collecting information for decision makers. And this depends on your target audience, of course, but in a lot of cases, it would be that somebody, a team, is gathering, and let's say they're researching which video editing software to purchase. And if you are an option there, you would want to start thinking about marketing or creating marketing materials that would help those people make the purchasing decision to go with your product or your service. So that's one way, is sort of a different mindset. Whereas if you're marketing to a consumer, you might focus more on like, hey, the benefits, the features, the emotions, the feeling behind that product. But for a B2B, it's often more of a research process. But we could talk about this one for a whole hour if we wanted to. But if you have any more specific questions, you can shoot them in the chat, and I will try to answer them. Okay, we've got well, hi, Larry. We've just got a hello there. Okay.
Excuse me, Stasia.
Yeah.
I think we have, Jillian's gonna see if we can find individuals with questions. Do you have them ready?
Yeah, lovely. Let's do that. I'm sorry, I was just like going through the chat and going to answer all the questions.
Oh, awesome. Let's see. Delina. Oh, actually, Brittany, can you make me co-host?
Stasia, why don't you answer one more question while we're queuing this up?
Sure.
Sorry for that.
Oh, no problem at all. Let me see. Let's see. The question, this is from Ministerio, and the question is, can you film with your phone? Absolutely, you can totally film with your phone. Most cell phones right now have, some of the nicest cameras that, certainly nice enough to make a great video. One tip that I can recommend, do I have it with me? It's on the floor behind me, so I'm not going to reach down and grab it, is to actually, if you are going to use your phone, make sure that you have it very steady. So I actually have one of those here. This is on my ring light. So this is just one of the stands. It's a Joby, and you can use it as a tripod to actually mount your phone to it. So you'll have a nice and steady angle. Alternatively, you could find a wall and put your phone and make sure that it is, carefully propped up on a wall or a surface that will actually hold it in place. But you can absolutely use your phone to make these videos. Okay, let's see. All right, Jillian, are you ready for me?
Yep, go ahead.
I thought you were going to bring a person on.
Oh, I am trying to.
Okay.
Let's see. Why don't we do the next video, and then because a lot of the questions that we're seeing in the webinar Q&A window have kind of been answered. So
perfect.
So why don't we go to the next one, and then I will bring up someone who has their hand raised.
And by the way, while we do this, if you have questions, like you're like, what was the name of the video? What kind of software? What did he do on that software? All of these videos are available for you to rewatch in the Hello Alice Sprint workbook. So you can actually watch all of these again online as often as you like within the Hello Alice site. So just a little quick tip to let's keep going. All right, so now we've covered 3 points. We're halfway there. Let's talk about the fourth technique, which is called point and shoot. And this is really handy if your video needs action. It brings energy and excitement to the content that you're going to create. And so to show you how, we're going to watch some tips created for us by Manny Izquierdo from Me Media Productions in Miami. So with that, I am going to hide from the camera and turn it over to Jillian to play the video.
I'm Manny from Miami, and I'm the owner and operator of Me Media Productions. As a small business myself, I understand that content is king in the digital space. I heard that you want to learn how to do point and shoot video so you can promote your business on YouTube. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how. If only we can just go around capturing what our eyes see, but unfortunately, that's not the case. The basic equipment you need, no matter the size, is going to be a camera, a lens, and some method of recording audio. The beautiful thing is that you have everything you need right there on your smartphone. Even if you don't have a microphone, you can get away with finding royalty-free music and some sound effects that matches the tone of your video. And in matter of fact, YouTube has an amazing free library of audio that you can use, so it relieves any stress. It's very important to know, especially if you're just starting out, to get smooth handheld shots. All you need to do is figure out how to get 3 points of stabilization while you're holding your camera, which means you have to find a way of getting 3 points of contact with your camera, whether that's with the ground, your hands, or your camera strap. If you're using a tripod, each leg is a point of contact with the ground. If you're using a monopod, you have 1 point of contact with the ground and 2 with your hands. Actually, a monopod is a great tool that's very affordable that you can buy on Amazon for $20 to $50. Or if you're using a camera strap, wrap it around your body and it helps give you maximum tension. If you're just using your phone, make sure you turn on image stabilization. Some phones may not have it, and if not, don't worry. All you have to do is make sure you get no to very slow movements. And if you're using your phone, this would be a great time to use your monopod. Now let's talk about what you need to be looking for when you're shooting. The 3 basic components you need to worry about are your foreground, your midground, and your background. So in order for you to build beautiful works of art, you need to be consistently thinking about these 3 elements and how they play off one another. This is how you're going to build a visual story. Don't forget, you have a subject, a product that's going to be living in between these 3 elements, while also determining how they're going to be interacting with one another. You know what? Let's go to the backyard and kind of play around with some different subject matters. Let's do this. This is going to be our visual example for today, a bouquet of flowers. We have all 3 elements right here. A foreground, which is something right in front of the lens, our midground, which is where our subject is going to be living, and our background, which is everything behind our main subject that usually is blurred out. It won't be your main attention grabber, but it helps elevate your image. No, it's your choice where you want the subject or product to live. Let's first focus on our midground, where our subject is going to be living. Right now, our background is just a boring, ugly fence. Though, if we make some small tweaks in the camera, we now make our background more aesthetically pleasing. Just by changing where the lens is facing, we have now a more visually pleasing background. Just by adding some hedges. It really helps complement the colors of the flowers. Now, let's add some elements in the foreground, like this fake houseplant. You could see the before and after, and how it adds more of a visual interest to our main subject, while filling in some of the dead space. Now we can add some movement to help give it that feeling of being alive, and notice how the foreground elements help sell that movement. You'll be surprised how everyday objects can really elevate your story. Now that you've figured out your composition, let's make sure you get the 3 basic forms of coverage: your wide, your medium, and your close-up. Make sure you give yourself at least 10 seconds worth of stable shots to give yourself enough time to cut in the editing room. Then all you have to do is continuously repeat these steps for any subject you're shooting. I really want you to focus on getting a lot of practice with building your frames, so that way you can figure out what works best for you. Continuously practicing and thinking about how to shoot beautiful images just builds your confidence in your filmmaking abilities. With that being said, I encourage you to click down below to begin your journey on creating more videos for YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.
Hey everybody, I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
We can. And Stasia, we have a question from the audience.
Oh, sure.
And I have invited Rachel Martin to join us on stage. Rachel, are you there with us?
I am. Thank you so much. This is really great content. I've been doing live streaming since November of last year, so I'm always looking for tips. And one thing that I see, I'm wearing glasses, and right now I'm in front of a window, but I struggle with, if I don't have window light and I'm using a ring light, having reflection in my glasses. And I'm just wondering, you know, I've lifted it up, put it to the side, you know, I've done so many different things, and sometimes like, okay, boom, I've got it. But then I have to really stay at the right space in the frame. So I've thought about even getting like contacts. Like, so can you give me some tips?
Well, I can only speak for myself as a lazy human, but I put my contacts in when I'm presenting for that exact reason, because you're absolutely right. It's really hard. So I am not, I am typically the talent. I am the person who is on here. And oftentimes when we're making a video, there's actually a production crew that is helping me. And they do very much have to put me in the right spot to get that right angle. Because, ironically enough, even though I'm making a compelling video, presentation today, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, but if this was going to be something that was going to be, remastered and I won't say less authentic, but more produced, more heavily packaged, I would probably have like filters on my windows and lights, and I would probably have, figured out how to hook up my ring light. So right now I'm using natural light. I do have a light over at the top, and I chose to wear my contacts to avoid that reflection. So I feel like this is a very long non-answer to tell you to say, yes, it is really hard to get the perfect shot. And oftentimes, like when I'm filming, so if any of you have ever watched any of the Grow with Google webinars and you see me presenting, I am literally propped up on like 3 blocks, not moving my hands, or trying not to move my hands, because I don't want to screw up that right, the position that we need for it. So I think that my opinion is that it's harder than it looks to get that perfect shot. But again, one of the things that Alex said is, go back and look at it and really take a hard look at your position, do lots of test shots and be like, okay, where am I getting the better light or not getting the better light? And the other thing too is that, you might get the perfect angle for your glasses, and then the sun might change position or the cloud cover might come out, and then you have to redo the whole thing again. So it's definitely a moving target, and I feel for you because I'm also doing webinars all the time.
Right on. And Matt brought up in the chat that the Me Media guy did it like the whole vid without reflection, and it'd be great to know how he did that.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that, honestly. I knew that wasn't his YouTube channel. I will tell you though, he spent a lot of time finding that right angle to not make that reflection happen on his glasses. He's also got the advantage of, probably a professional studio to help him do that. For what it's worth, I don't see any reflection on your glasses now. I think you look really good. So
I'm at a window light. Yeah, but when I'm not in my New York City apartment right now. When I'm in my New York City apartment and in my bedroom and it's like 7 p.m., it's a little tough,
Yeah. So I think you look great, but I would try, the easiest fix is contact lenses. But otherwise, I would, just play with your ring lights and your position and even more tips.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Rachel. All right, Jillian, would you like to do any more, or should we head back into tips?
Let's head back into tips.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so let's go on to production technique number 5. Woohoo! I'm so excited because guess what? Alex from Lemon Drop Studios is back. Okay, I might have a favorite. But he's going to cover our 5th technique, which is called the top-down shot. And so with a top-down shot, you can actually create the illusion of a tactile sensation. It's like if you were watching the video, you would be holding that product in your hand and experiencing it. So that is what you're going for when you are using this technique to make a video. And what Alex is going to do is he's going to actually show you like practical tips on how to set up your camera if you want to try this technique at home. Okay, and with that, I am going to hide and let Jillian play this video for you.
I'm Alex from Draw of Lemon Studio, here to talk to you about the top-down shots. A top-down shot is used for showing off and interacting with your product or service. It gives the video a feeling that the customers have your product in their hand. So how do you achieve your own top-down shot? Oh, well, that's super easy. If you have all of this, well, it's nice to have, but definitely not necessary. We'll show an easier way how to reproduce the same shot. Let's get started. Step 1, get the right setup. Let's begin by finding a large non-wobbly table that's cleaned up and ready to go. Find the right scene that really stands out. Look around, try different colors, textures, and objects. You can make it into a wide, clean top-down shot, like this one, or you can create a setup that feels more alive. Add some pencils, a plant, a cup of coffee. Make it personal. Important is that no matter what the setup is, the focus remains in the middle, where your product is being showcased. The best light source is the sun, especially on a cloudy day. It creates a very consistent and soft light. So on a cloudy day, put your table next to a window. But beware, the weather changes and can be very inconsistent. With extra lamps, you can create your own lighting environment. So you might consider buying some cheap, affordable LED lights. But if it doesn't work for you, you can also consider just using a desk light. Step 3, putting the camera in the right position. Make sure to go for something sturdy. You can rent or invest in tripods that can be pulled out and used over your table. You can also set up a regular tripod on top of a table and bend it slightly forward. Make sure you don't see the tripod's legs, and be careful because this makes the camera very unstable and can easily fall over. If you're working with a smartphone, you can use a gooseneck stand or a clamp with a phone mount attached to it. These things are great, cheap, and you can basically clamp it anywhere. Or just be creative. Like here, I made a quick setup with some boxes and a plank on top, put the smartphone just over the edge, and voila. But be careful. Make sure it's bump-proof and doesn't fall over. Try adding some corner brackets, weights, or just even duct tape. Step 4, workflow. After setting up the shot, you can begin your video. Make sure to show all sides of your products while you're shooting, and use a voiceover for explaining your product. Hey guys, have you ever faced the same problem as me? Don't know how to open this banana? Well, with my new Banana 2.0, it's easier than ever to open a banana. Yeah. And don't forget to do multiple takes and zoom in or even move your camera closer so you can choose the best shots during editing and make it more dynamic. And that's it. Make sure to have fun. That's what it's all about. Thank you for watching and good luck with your upcoming video productions.
I could pretty much watch that over and over again. I don't know why I think that banana thing is so funny, but it cracks me up every single time I watch it. Okay, so that is our top-down shot. Let's go on to technique number 6. So
sorry, Stasia.
I'm so sorry. More questions for me. Let's ask questions then.
More questions. I am excited to invite Armina to the stage. Hi, Armina.
Armina, you are on mute.
Thank you. Hi, sorry about that, everybody. I was curious to know what kind of software some people are using. I'm looking for something that has a professional, is somewhat professional, but easy to use to do VO and type and things like that.
Well, the product that he was recommending for audio is called Audacity. So that's the free software that they are recommending. As far as video editing software, there are so many different options that are available to you. I think it depends on a lot of things. Do you want free software? Do you want paid software? Or you want a Mac? Or you want a PC? That kind of stuff. We could do this. Does anybody in the chat have one? I don't want to recommend one as representing Grow with Google. I mean, I can tell you what I use, but that's just, that's just one tiny option out there. So let's look in the chat. If you have a video program, editing program that you love, that you want me to shout out to, type it in the chat right now. Okay, we've got Premiere Pro, we've got InShot, we've got Canva, Splice, Video Leap, DaVinci, Wondershare, Final Cut, Power Director. So iMovie, is beginner friendly, AI Motion, Keynote, WeVideo. Anyway, you're getting the drift here. I mean, people are typing in like dozens and dozens of different types of video editing software. A lot of software gives you a free trial. So you could go in there and see which one, especially if it's web-based software, you can go in and see what you like and go from there. But there are so many options. You can also go to one of the URLs, and I'll show you at the end, is going to take you into a place where you can get tips on the YouTube website. And on YouTube's website, they do have links to different video creation platforms. So another option that you could do is actually, it's like a SaaS, where you would actually go in and you would create a subscription, and then you basically upload assets and use their tools to easily create videos. So there are a lot of options out there. If you had asked me the same question, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, it might have been a much smaller list, but right now there are a lot for you to choose from. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
So just one other quick thing for the audio was, I thought he was saying Audacity was for just cleaning it up, for not actually.
Yeah, he said that was just for audio. Full disclosure, I personally haven't used Audacity, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. If you do a search for free audio editing software, that's what's popping up first on Google. So, again, like for every product, without myself, Stasia, or Grow with Google personally endorsing any particular product, I would go out, try it, see if you like it, and then go from there. But you have a lot of options available to you, which is the good news. Okay.
Thanks.
Jillian, what would you like?
Thanks, Armina. All right. Well, we can go to the next tip while I queue up the next question.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, I'm going to, I think you can you guys see my screen where it says Technique 6?
We can see it, yep.
Okay, great. So the top-down shot, it's great for products that can set down, like the banana for Banana 2.0. But what about products that are more interesting, that are in action? So it really would be hard to show that with a top-down shot. So filming in action is a great way to get viewers to better understand how the product looks and it works and it operates, and get a feel for it. So then this next video that I'm going to, or that Jillian is going to show to you, we're bringing Princess back to show us how to create effective in-action shots. She's going to explain how a great video has things like a story, how it uses strategic camera angles, how it uses lighting and location. And I'm not going to lie, when I watch this video, I'm kind of like, yeah, Princess, because your location is Hawaii. So I feel like I could find a lot of ideal locations there. I mean, not that Nashville isn't beautiful, but she's definitely has some good locations to choose from on the islands. So with that, I am going to switch it over to Jillian to play our video for technique number 6, in action shots.
My name is Princess, and I'm also a small business owner and content creator located here in Hawaii. Today, I'm going to show you how to shoot your products in action. In addition to the normal static tabletop or simple backdrop shoot, it's very important that you show your product how it's used in the wild and by real customers. You can shoot these videos using a camera or your phone, and other equipment that I use in addition to this is a monopod, which is very affordable and can be easily found online. Now that you know the importance of this and the basic equipment needed, let's get started on some tips that will help you in shooting your products in action. Tip number 1 is to create a story around it. Think about all the elements that can complement your product, like what problem does it solve, where is it usually used, and how do I want my customers to feel when they are holding it. Consider adding the answer to questions like this to your video. For example, if my product is a ukulele, I would consider using a musician or my target audience, and I would make sure to shoot it at a quiet place. Also, the emotions of the models or actors send the message to viewers and are very important. Tip number 2 is use different kinds of angles and shots when shooting. Different kinds of angles can take your video to the next level. So for example, if your product is a skincare cream, consider alternating close-up shots and wide-angle shots. Another favorite shot of mine is texture shots. Texture shots are all about patterns, colors, and depth, and every single detail of a texture plays a significant role in the overall perception of the video. This allows your viewers to be mesmerized and take a closer look at your product. Tip number 3, lighting is so important just like with any other videos. It's a little trickier when you shoot outside, so here are a few tips. Timing is key. For example, if you're a skateboarding company and you're looking to show your skateboards in action outside, timing is key. Avoid shooting when the sun is at its brightest, like early afternoon. This is a time when lighting from the sun can make your videos too bright. Golden hour is the most ideal time for me. Generally, golden hour looks good because it gives people in landscapes a flattering, natural look. Tip 4 is to hunt for a location that will make the composition of your video look nice. This can be a balanced background like this natural scenery. Don't have too many background elements, which can be distracting. As you think about finding a good outdoor location, here are some tips. Number 1, walk or drive around and see what looks good for your product based on different factors. The color, lighting during the time that you're planning to shoot, the other elements you want to include in your video, etc. Number 2, look for inspiration online. You can always Google or search on YouTube what local spots are around that are eye-catchy and can give more value to your video. Shooting your product in action can be really fun. This can help your viewers turn into customers.
Stasia, on stage with us, we have Jamal with a question.
Hey,
And Jamal, I turned your video off earlier while we were watching Princess's video, but please join us on camera so you can ask Stasia your question.
Am I able to be seen now?
There you are. Yes.
Okay, cool. I had two questions. The primary question really was what's the best platform for those of us that have interview platforms? What's the best platform for us to utilize that effectively along with video commentary?
So when you say an interview platform, are you recording for a podcast? Are you recording for
The similar nature? Yeah. So if I'm having a multiple panelist interview, of course, because of the situation, they wouldn't physically be with me. But if I'm having 2 or 3 guests that are on a sub screen off to the side of the or whatever platform you think is best to utilize for that situation.
So again, I can't personally recommend one or the other, but just to give you a sense of what some of the folks in our audience are using, we have everything. We've got a lot of votes for iMovie. We've got Final Cut Pro. We've got Canva as one. A lot of people are just using their phones. Adobe Spark, I've actually used that one. That one's cool. InShot is quick and easy to use. Splice and Video Leap, you can use on your phone. Wondershare. So, again, it's a tough one to answer because it's not like there are 2 video programs that are the leaders. There are so many, because so many people are doing this now. The good news for you as a consumer is you have a lot of options. There are a lot of things that you can try out there. And here's one. So some people are saying that they just use Zoom, or you could use Google Meet. And to your point, for the folks who suggested that, that's exactly what I do for, for a quick and easy video. What I'll do is Betsy or some of my other colleagues will all hop on Google Meet, or if we're using Zoom platform, and we'll meet together, and then I'll record the screen. That is one really easy way for you to get those multiple people to actually get that recording on there and you get that video export. So there's so many ways. I'm seeing Microsoft Teams, I'm seeing Facebook Live. This is like, there is many more, there are a lot of ways to skin this cat, so.
Okay. My second question was, at some point at the end of these discussions, will we be able to highlight our various businesses for the community?
So that is a question for Hello Alice. So I'm not sure what they're going to allow to do.
Jamal, I would definitely recommend that you tell us more about your business within the Sprint community, and I'll be sure to put a link to that within the chat.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Jillian, would you like to know the question, or should we go to tip number 7?
Let's go to tip number 7.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, let me share my screen again. Here we go. Okay, tip number 7. So this is another way to help viewers understand what your video is all about. And it's a technique called told with text. So adding video or text to a video can really highlight what the narrator is saying. It can also be useful for videos that have no narration at all, where you're just relying on the visual, and it can reinforce what's happening. So in this film, or this little clip, David Magia, a filmmaker from Tongle.com, is going to show us how to do it. Now, there's one note that I wanted to point out before you watch this. So David is going to show you kind of step by step his process for making the edits with the software that he is using. And I'm not even sure, I couldn't tell what software he's personally using to do this. But I don't want you to focus on that, because again, just like the questions we've just had, everyone's like, well, what video software should I use? And the response is, there's a lot, go out and check it out. So don't focus on what keys he's clicking on or what he's dragging, trying to do. You can do all of these things just about with almost every kind of software that you've got. But I want you to look at what he's doing and how he's applying the tips to the video. That's the takeaway here from this clip. Y'all with me? Okay. With that, I am going to stop talking, and I'm going to pass this over to Jillian for the next video clip.
My name is David, and I'm an editor and filmmaker from Colombia. I'd like to welcome you to this quick tutorial on how to add text to your YouTube videos and why that matters. So let's jump right in with an example and figure out how to do it. Of course, what your text says, it's very important because your message must be clear and understandable. But how you design the text is also very important. The font, the size, the color, the duration on screen, all have an impact on how your audiences perceive the video. Imagine we sell equipment to work from home, and we just made a video showing how the product is used. As you can see, this video has no voiceover, so it's really important to rely on visible text to explain what's happening. On-screen text serves our main goal, to invite people to try our product, and it's also a great way to make your product really stick in people's minds. Now I'm going to show you how to add basic text to your video to make your message more clear using DaVinci Resolve. This is a great free software, but the principles of adding text to videos are roughly the same in any editing software, even in smartphone apps. The first thing we're going to do is to create a new project. The name doesn't matter, and we're gonna import our video, the video that we already have. So import media, open, and change. And we're gonna go to the edit tab and drag the video to the editing timeline. So let's go to the effects library and titles and just drag a text and put it on top. Because our video here doesn't have any text, we have to make it speak. We have to let the viewers know what we want them to know. When thinking about font, you want to choose something that is bold enough to be visible on mobile screens and something you can reuse across all your brand content. For color, we're gonna go with yellow so it stands out, and just a little bit bigger. And down here, a little bit of shadow, drop shadow, let's offset it a little bit so it's visible, less blurry. Here we can fade the text so it enters more smoothly. And also, because our video does this, we also want to fade it out. And let's add a second text. Or we can copy it using Alt and dragging. Now, it is important to start strong, to immediately catch their eye, to get their attention. And we have to intrigue them, talk about a problem they might be having. In YouTube videos, there is no time to waste. We have to get their attention and immediately offer a solution. Alt and drag, and that will copy our text. And here we can maybe give some information about where to find us, how to purchase our product. So let's not cover the product, just cover the screen. Now that our video is done, we can export it going to the Deliver tab. and then choose a name for the file. So add to render queue, the location is going to be on the desktop, and now render all. That's it for today. I hope this video was interesting and helpful to you. If you want to keep learning about how to edit your videos, check out my channel.
All
Hey,
right,
everybody.
Stasia,
Hi.
we have Nicole on stage with us with a question.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi. So earlier in the session, I'm not sure who it was, but someone had mentioned the importance of content. And one thing that I'm looking to understand better is the content. Do we have any statistics or data specifically about the length of the content that keeps the audience engaged?
Mm-hmm.
That's question one. And then question two is, what's the frequency for that content?
Okay, and I have been looking at the chat, and many of you are asking the same question. I'm not going to give you, the official answer is that your video should be 17 minutes long. What they do show, it depends on the video and what it's trying to do. And in general, if you don't capture their attention, or of the watcher, usually within, so I've heard stats as low as 5 seconds. I've seen as long as 30. But if you don't catch them really quickly in the beginning of the video, you're going to lose them. I think a case in point is the fact that if you were to look at YouTube's ad formats, they have many different formats. And in one way that they're organized, they actually have it's called a bumper ad that's literally only 6 seconds long. So they've seen that is pretty much the minimum amount of time, but that's what you could do. You could actually present an effective marketing message. They've seen statistically, it helps with brand uplift with only showing a 6-second ad for a product. Now, obviously you've got to really get your message across very quickly. On the flip side of this, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and there are some videos where she will sit and watch the video for 30 minutes or more, but it's depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish with that video, what you're showing, and and that moment in time. In general, people have shorter attention spans, and they can leave in the drop of a hat and come back if they want to. So, front load all of your most critical information. Make sure that, for the key takeaways, you're not putting that at the tail end of your 30-minute video. Of course, make sure that there's that regular call to action that helps them go and learn more. But I don't have a number for you, like this is the ideal time.
Because I know earlier you mentioned IPSY as like one of the statistics. So I think that's who you said. Is there any other resource that you would say? So you just said Google, I'm just writing it down. You just said Google ads, bumper ads. So it gives you statistics about what the best length is?
No, so I said as a case in point, so for Google ads, because we know that there are so many different purposes and reasons for people coming to watch a video online. And along with that are different attention spans, whether you're here to case in point, I was trying to figure out how to put together this tent that I bought from REI, and I didn't have the instructions. I probably spent 45 minutes watching YouTube videos very carefully to figure out how to do that tent. So that's one purpose versus my daughter, who's just like flipping through, looking at, music videos and stuff. Her attention span, she's not going to watch anything for 45 minutes. So in that particular scenario, that 6-second ad is probably going to be a whole lot more effective than like a 2-minute video ad explaining like why this tent is the best one to choose. So it's a really difficult question to answer because it depends on why that person is watching video in the first place. So where the video is appearing, how those people are searching for those videos, how they're surfacing on YouTube or other platforms. It's just a really difficult question to say.
That's okay. If you could just recommend maybe any other statistical resources like Ipsy, you know, or anything else like that that maybe we could reference based on our business?
The one that I can use, or the one that I like to recommend, there's actually a research group within Google called Think with Google. And you can just do a search for that, Think with Google. And they have regular research, and it's not just from Google, it's from other companies and other creative agencies, video makers, and they publish lots of new fresh content that they learn all the time. So that's one of my personal favorites. And they've got everything from longer articles to, you know, to data galleries to find, you know, like interesting statistics and things like that. And there's going to be stuff on YouTube's Press Center as well. But I personally like Think with Google.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming today. Jillian, do I have time to
Oh, I don't know what happened to Stasia. 1 second. That might have been my boo-boo. All right, while I get Stasia back on stage. Stasia, you there?
Did you kick me out, Jillian?
You know, that has never happened before. I am so sorry.
I was like, oh, I'm gone. I'm back. Do I have time to show the last video? Is that okay?
You know what? I owe this to you. You have all the time. You have all the time you want. Yes, absolutely.
There's just one more. There's just one more. Okay, so I am now going to, pardon me for 1 second while I switch back to it. Here we go. So this is our last technique that I wanted to share with everybody today, and it's going to cover animation and motion graphics. This particular technique is especially useful if you're promoting a service or a digital product, something where it's like, I can't show you my great bottle of kombucha or my fabulous paddle brush or whatever, that physical object. So animation and motion graphics can kind of help fill that gap and tell the story about what it is that you want to showcase on your video. So here we're going to hear tips from Sally Sargood. She's the Chief Video Officer for Animoto, and she's going to offer 5 tips for using images, still images, to actually create videos. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jillian, and we will watch our final video production tip.
Hello, my name is Danny, Director of Content and Strategy at Shutterrock, coming to you from New York. Today we're going to be taking you through how to elevate your video creative through animation, and better yet, using things.
Wrong one. One more. That's the one right there. Sorry about that.
Officer at Animoto. We've been partnering with YouTube since 2017, enabling small businesses to create videos themselves to promote their products and services. We're an online DIY platform that makes video creation so easy that anyone can do it. We've seen small businesses embrace Animoto, with over 1 million of them using it for their marketing and advertising videos. Today, in less than 5 minutes, I'm going to show you how to turn your images into a YouTube-ready video, even if you have no experience in video editing. We have YouTube-specific templates with a bunch of best practices built in, including the ones that I'm going to talk about today. So, are we ready? Let's go. When creating videos using stills, there are a number of best practices to keep in mind. For the next few minutes, I'm going to talk you through my top 5 best practices for creating great videos using just still images. So the first one is to make sure you're using images that are bright and attention-grabbing. Darker images won't stand out as much, whereas brighter images will not only catch their eye, but also keep the viewer's attention. Number 2 is to zoom in. So when adding your images to the video, make sure you zoom in and crop it in nice and tight to the image. Studies actually show that using tight shots of people or animals retains the viewer's attention more than a wide focus shot. So try to fill the frame with the subject more than the background. Next up, use negative space for your text. So even though we love those tight shots, keep in mind that text helps drive home the point and deliver your message. So when using text, we also need to make sure that it's legible and doesn't compete with the imagery you're using. So you can do this by either creating some negative space on the screen, by moving your subject either to the left or right, or even on the top or bottom, so you can create some space to place the text clearly. Number 4 is using effects like a photo burst. So one great way to introduce motion into your video is to use something like a photo burst. So this is a series of images that appear in rapid succession. The photo burst transitions will captivate your viewer and allow you also to show more images in less time. And finally, once you have your imagery and copy finalized, incorporate your personality and colors into it and create a look that's consistent with your brand. So this will help your videos stand out and be consistent with what you represent as a business, but also increase the professional look of your videos. So by including these best practices, we know that your videos will be fantastic. So let's have a look at a finished product now. Super fun and super easy. So the great part is that this isn't hard to do. Tools like Animoto can turn you into a video producer within minutes. So everything that I've talked about today is possible to do with Animoto's drag and drop interface. Everything from the zoom, the text, the colors, even stock. So if you don't have your own images, we have over 1 million Getty Images photos and video clips too, as well as the licensed music library for you to access, or you can also upload your own. So many people are never able to launch an ad because they feel like it needs to be perfect, but our suggestion is not to let perfection stand in your way. Start small, finish one video, test it, then iterate, and you're off and running. So thank you so much and happy video making.
All right, I'm back.
Awesome. And we also have Chanta on stage with a question.
Hi, Shanta. Oh, Shanta, you are on mute.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. And I am excited about this one because I've been doing some YouTube for a while now, or just started like during COVID. But I'm wondering what is the best, as far as the algorithm is concerned, those things that are really hitting, because there are some people that are out there that have a multitude of subscribers and they're getting a lot of action when it comes to their content. I do more services than I do my actual products, but and I also do some guest interviews, as well as it's me on that, what we say, the selfie style. And I've gone through all of the ones that we've talked today, but looking at all the techniques, which ones seem to be hitting home the most and really allowing you to grow as you are then starting your YouTube channel?
So you mean as far as a production technique or a technique to grow your subscriber base on YouTube?
Well, both. One, what is the technique that really is really hitting it out of the park, as well as how is the best way to grow your YouTube channel also?
So again, it's a little bit tough to answer because it depends on what the video is about. Selfie style, that's, you know, just kind of the one that's there and been there for the longest amount of time. So that is a tried and true option for a technique. However, depending on what scenario, what you're trying to promote, it may not always be the best approach to have a human in the center talking. You might want to really focus on that product. So in that case, the top down might work. And if it's for, you know, that skateboard, you don't want me standing here saying, hey, look, this is the greatest skateboard. Having a video of a woman who is much more agile than me, like skateboarding through Hawaii, that's going to be a more compelling video than me going like, look at this cool skateboard, yay. So it depends on what the topic of the video is, which is how I'm going to get around answering it, because it depends. Now, as far as actually promoting on YouTube, boy, that is the $1 million question, right? That's what everyone wants to do and wants to know. I can tell you certain things that creators are doing that is helping. One thing they're doing is they're actively encouraging people to subscribe, but without being too pushy and too salesy, but it's helping people learn about their channel and subscribe and take that next step. It is about, at the end of the day, for all of it, really creating compelling content. And I feel like that's kind of like every time I teach a class, it's the same thing. It's content, 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 but that's really what it boils down to. People are hungry for it. They just want to see more and more content and consume that. So if you have a story to tell, something to share, put that out there. And the more frequently and the more compellingly, more interestingly you can do that, the more likely you are to actually build on that list. And then there's certainly things that you can do, just sort of administratively within the videos, within your YouTube settings. You want to make sure that your videos are public. You want to make sure that you are adding the right tags and the right descriptions to them, all those kinds of things that help the algorithm itself understand the context of what that content is, so that way it has more of an opportunity to surface when people are doing those searches. But let me see if I can't remember I don't want to screw this one up, I probably will, but I think I read somewhere that it's 100,000 hours of content are uploaded every minute on YouTube. Maybe it's more. The point is, there is a lot of content being created and uploaded to YouTube right now. And so it's a big ocean, and it's going to take some work to actually start showing up there. But again, just, I would, rather than think I am going to be the next, #1 YouTube creator, think about instead, well, what is it that why are you doing this? Who do you want these videos to appear to? And then really focusing on how you can find that audience. So maybe you don't have 10 million viewers, but maybe you have 1,000 of the most powerful product advocates or people who believe in the mission, whatever it is that you're promoting via your channel, and you've got a strong audience that way. One other thing that I wanted to mention, all of the tips that I'm talking about, there's even more. There's they did story types that you can talk about, which actually feeds into their 3 primary story types. The story of me, I'm going to blank on the other 2, but you can find them. And the URL to get these tips is youtube.com/ads/video-creation-tips. So that's the URL, and I believe someone's going to share that for me in the resources section. It's linked on all of the slides too, and in the Hello Alice guide that you can get on the Hello Alice site, that URL is there as well. But it's basically going to go over all of the production tips that I talked about today, the story types, and even more ways to help you potentially grow your YouTube channel, your audience base, and create compelling videos online. Shanta, did I answer your questions, or did I just dodge them the whole time? I feel like I dodged.
You gave me a lot more to think about too, because you identified the fact that the tags and the description is extremely important as well. And that helps with moving forward with others finding it. Because yes, you can promote it all day. And especially if you have featured guests on, they will be promoting as well. But then there are others out there that don't know you exist. And as business owners, that's our #1 thing. We have to be known before they can like and trust us to do business with us. So I appreciate all of your assistance.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'll give you one other little bonus tip. It sounds like you are serious about making lots of video content, which is wonderful. But if you create, and for all of you, I hope you create your own free YouTube channel. But one thing that's important there is that within the channel, you have the ability to organize your videos into different sections, basically playlists. And as you start to build and grow your video library, take a step back and think about how you want to organize it. Because if you just have, 500 videos out there and people have to kind of dig through to find what it is that they're looking for, that's going to be a lot harder for them. Whereas I have a video that this is all about, this audience that I help, or this category of product, or here are unboxing videos, however you want to organize it that makes sense for your business and your organization. But that's a really, it's a good thing to get in mind at the beginning before you start adding all that content.
Thank you so much, Stasia.
You're welcome. Jillian, do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am. I think at this time we can, there were a lot of questions. And so I recommend that if you didn't get an answer to your question, please join us within the Sprint community. I've included a link in the chat, but there have been such amazing conversations in today's session. So please join us in the Sprint community. Check back next Tuesday for our next call. And, let's keep learning from one another and sharing recommendations on what works.
Create a YouTube channel. So that's what the next sprint is going to be all about. So all of the things that we talked about today will show you how to actually make the free channel where you can put all of that video content that you're going to probably all start making today, right after this call ends.
Awesome. All right, Stasia. Well, thank you so much for, I know that we have gone beyond our time, so thank you for generously lending us another half hour. Do you have any last words of advice for our attendees before we close?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for their time. I know that, gosh, it's been a long year and a half, and I get it. You're tired. I'm tired of watching webinars and things like that. But on the other hand, I'm so grateful that we have this technology that I can stay connected to my friends and my colleagues and my customers, So thank you for being here. I think that's what I'm getting at. If you want to learn more about online tools and tips, please visit our Grow with Google site. It's at google.com/grow. And we also have an online learning platform called Grow with Google on Air. But you can always go to the Hello Alice and get all of the information we talked about today as well. So thank you all so very much for having me here. I really do appreciate it.